So one way which I've learnt to connect to my higher self is to enter a meditative state, which could be anything for anybody. And then once in that meditative state, become aware of the meditative state that I'm in, which amplifies the state and the vibration, and it amplifies the awareness and the knowingness. And then to double check myself, I'll switch my thought topic instantly. And if I know I'm well connected, that thought bubble will just expand, and I could sit down and write page after page after page. So that's how I know that's my surefire way of sitting down foundationally and connecting. There's many other ways, but that's the one for me when nothing else seems to be working. It's the one thing for me that just brings me back down and grounds me again and allows me to sort of drop out of the persona, have a few deep breaths, look at how simple everything really is, and just let the mind reset again and feed it some good thoughts and some good provided nature, sunlight, trees, water, dogs, birds. Just walking along this track, wondering which part inside that funny looking head am I walking through, because there's no map. There's a map for the lay of the land. There's a map for the physical appearance. There's a map. There's a name. There's a judgment. There's a description of everything physical you could possibly imagine, and how to get there, and what to do and what not to do on the way. But amongst all that physical location, there's a whole nother layer. And it doesn't have a clear map. Not a map in the traditional sense that we think of as a map. The map folds in on itself and reads itself from the inside and interprets through feeling, which determines the action on the outside. This map only comes into vision when you are in the state required to see that map. Everyone can attain that state to see their own map. The hard parts, knowing what you're seeing, knowing at least how to start trying to read the map, and actually knowing that you're looking at a map. the external world appears like everything you want to grasp at and want to have, when the real paradox of life is that everything that you see out there in the physical world, you already have. Because you're seeing what's inside of you projected. What's energetically inside of you, you see in the world. That's where the physical 3D world comes from. It doesn't come from stories that are told, unless you believe those stories. It comes from whatever is in your head is created in the external world. And whatever you look at the external world and deny to be you will be amplified and brought closer until you learn to integrate it and accept it as yourself. Because it has every much right to exist as you do. It's created equally as you are. And for you to put yourself above it is to put the other below you. And by putting the other below you, paradoxically, you're putting yourself below yourself. And that's a cycle, if ever I've seen one. That's why any judgment is only self-judgment. And it will only amplify and get worse and worse in your life until you see that it's actually just what's inside of you. And then when you say, okay, I accept that, that's fine, yep, I can see that that's me, I do that, I've done that in this situation, that one, I can see all the scenarios where I've done the same thing as that person that has now really upset me. And that's just identifying a mirror, a reflection. Once you do that, you can have a little cackle with the universe. Because all it's really doing is playing hide and seek. And consciousness is playing hide and seek with itself through you. Once you understand that, you can have a laugh about the situation, move on, and then that energy will leave you alone. Because it's no longer magnetized and attracted to the polar opposite. You're no longer saying, leave me alone, get as far away from me as possible because you are not me, which would be a positive and a negative effect, which actually attracts. The only way to repel something that you don't like is to understand that it's a part of you, allow it to exist, and accept it as being what it is in its true nature, and it will leave you alone. There's nothing else that can control it more than that. Laws of the universe come in very handy, and when you use them, you cannot be accused of being egotistical, because they don't work if you're in the ego.